Hi everyone, I'm Nick, and I invite you to enjoy these few different spins on Vocation from Leo, Veronica, Diane, and Noi Noi.
I read somewhere that hope is not a plan, it's a risk. But I think with some important things, hope is exactly the plan and risk is its engine. I lost my awesome wife Kay 6 years ago, and I really get it that in grief people can feel they've lost their purpose. I'm thankful to say that it's the power of hope in God's promise that still refreshes my vocation. I'm learning more and more what it means to take a risk on God's promise as my very purpose. Pope Francis spoke of Mary's life in this way, how her whole purpose was about taking a risk on God. What an incredible joy it is that I can now live in the promise of what Mary's risk brought into the world. If I can keep receiving that joy and live that joy in my daily connections, hopefully my life can bring some of God's promise into the world too.
Pope Francis's reflection went on to identify Mary's story with our own possibilities. His question was striking. It said, "Do you see yourself as being the bearer of a promise?" When it comes to talking about life purpose or vocation, that strikes me as a great question. What promise does my life carry into the world around me? In a way, my answer to that is more meaningful than only focusing on what particular lifestyle I might choose to live. How can my living, my loving, my listening, and my way of being with others shine out with joy as a sign of the promise? The promise that all belong, that all creation matters, and that life forever has already begun.
Quite a few years ago I married Vic, but being married is in some ways just a fact. We need to bring conscious ingredients to help shape its flavour. Like always asking how our story so far can teach us. Like giving priority to what can be fresh about our relationship right now. Like chewing over how we can bless the world around us. If we look at the life of Jesus, it was always unfolding. It kept being nourished by God, by companions, by life. It showed God's promise alive for others in the here and now. I wonder how Vic's and my vocation can keep striving to mirror that promise alive.
My particular lifestyle as a religious brother, but again, it's a bit more like a fact than a flavor. How I am brothered and how I brother in the role gets more to its meaning. Certainly, Mary's risk of God's promise is an encouraging image for me. In the risk of offering up certain possibilities, I hope my brothering pathway can bring into the world something of God's promise to walk with us. I know that to be a brother with joy is not a solo. It needs me to let the Lord and others brother me too.
I'm still finishing school and not exactly announcing my engagement yet, so I'm loving this vocation focus about the flavour of people's lives. It means that I can have a strong sense of vocation even now, that I can bring some of the promise into the world. I want to remember that awesome way Veronica summed up how she saw God's promise. The promise that all belong, the promise that all creation matters, and the promise that life forever has already begun. I heard someone ask a priest when he said yes to his pathway, and he said, actually, when I woke up this morning. So go you, as your life takes the risk to be a bearer of the great promise. Right now, today, whatever your story.